So thank you so much for joining me, Ben. This is super exciting. I get so many emails in my inbox with people offering me collabs, and all kinds of things, but yours really piqued my interest. So I think this is such a useful tool in the jewelry industry because it's CAD, but it's accessible for normal people, which is fantastic. And the jewelry industry has been like desperate for this. So I can't believe you created it, and I'm super excited to hear about it. So if you want to introduce yourself and how it all started and tell us all about that, we're here to listen.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I'm Ben Tilley. I'm the founder of Pencil. As you said, Pencil is a CAD program, but it's a CAD program that's been deliberately designed to be used by people who aren't existing CAD users and don't have the time or money to learn the very complex but the very powerful CAD programs that are out there. As a little bit of background where Pencil came from and why we even started the business. So prior to Pencil, I actually ran my own fine jewelry manufacturing company, and we manufactured 4 other brands and we did design work for other brands. And it was while building that business I saw the opportunity for Pencil because every client that was coming to me that wanted to do design work, they already knew what they wanted. They had a clear vision. They just didn't have the tools to do it. And they would pay companies like mine very large sums for our CAD team to do the work. And you know, it was many years ago that I started thinking, what if we sat down and created a CAD tool that everybody could use? And, you know, took inspiration from things like Canva and products like that out there that have made other areas accessible to a wide audience. And so that's where Pencil came from. We launched it about a year ago now. We had our 1-year anniversary in December, so a year and a couple of months. Thank you.
Amazing.
And I'm going to dive in and show Pencil really soon and just show exactly how it works and all the cool features in there. One thing to bear in mind in Pencil is it might not cover every single design that you want to create, at least not now. You know, there are definitely some things that you might have to either completely do by hand or you might need to use Rhino or Matrix for. But from our perspective, we want to cover you know, as much as we can and really cover some of those easier designs that you don't necessarily need to send to someone else. It's also why we don't charge thousands of dollars for it, because we treat it as, you know, like a part of your toolkit. Even if you're creating 2 or 3 designs a month, hopefully you're still getting enough value out of it.
Absolutely. And you showed me briefly before the call, like a little before Christmas, and I think that it's got a lot of capabilities, and like for like beginners as well, it's super user friendly, and then also like relatively advanced. Obviously not like every single possible thing, because with jewelry there's like a gazillion things you can do, so it's totally understandable you don't have all of those yet. But I was pretty impressed already, like with the versatility and all the options you have in there. So yeah, I think it's great. I'm very excited to share this because I think especially like a lot of jewelers message me as well, and they say, hey, I don't know where to make the jewelry. How do I do it? I don't know. It's going to take me so long to learn all the skills, but I'm really excited and want to get started. This is such a great option.
Totally. And even if it's just, you know, the very start of your journey, if you just want to get some ideas out, you know, before you even get to designing full collections, even just starting to put ideas out in 3D, seeing what they look like, it's great for that kind of initial concepting and ideation.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you do want to make it by hand, that's also an option too. If you just want to use it as like a thought process, like how does it look? Like I'm very visual. I need to see the thing as well to like get an idea. So that's also, yeah, good point. Great for that too.
One last thing that just came to mind, and then I'll dive in and start showing stuff as well. I'm going to be showing it to you on a laptop and sharing my screen, but it's actually all the functionality and features are available on mobile and on tablet too. So we actually had a client really early on that told us that they were in the backseat of an Uber when they had an idea and they pulled out their phone and they were able to just quickly, like, it was a ring that they had come up with and they were able to quickly kind of like place it there. They went to the computer and like made it, you know, really nice after that later on. But just being able to kind of do that design wherever you get inspiration, I think is something that's really cool about Pencil.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You never know when inspiration hits.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now and let's dive in. So I'm going to take you through a couple of different things today, some different types of designs, kind of explain the functionality. I'm treating this as a little bit of like a training session. So in some ways, if you sign up for Pencil, you can come back to this and see, you know, a really quick run through of how to use everything. And I also want to show off some of the features as well. So you've got an idea of what's actually possible in Pencil too.
Okay.
So Why don't I start off? So this is Pencil. As you can see, we have, the ability to kind of access and use designs that you've previously created. I create lots of designs. Please don't judge some of the terrible designs that I create on here. You'll see some strange looking things, which is usually just me actually doing testing or things like that. But let me dive in and show you actually how the design interface works. And I want to kind of talk through how all of this works, and then we'll dive in and actually start creating some designs. So if you ever use...
Can I quickly interrupt for a sec? Are we going to do like a beginner version and then a more advanced version?
Yeah.
Like two different options?
Yes, I think I'll do maybe 3 designs, and then I'll also show you how our like really advanced templates work as well, because that's a way to shortcut designs too.
Perfect. Exciting.
Cool. So in Pencil, we have a concept of templates, and you can design with templates or without templates. We've got hundreds of templates that have been created as a starting point, and some of the designs we create today will be using templates. Everything from cuffs to earrings to pendants to rings to ear cuffs. So that's where you go for templating. In addition to that, within Pencil, we have the ability to name designs. And when I start designing, this will all open up. The ability to select materials and finishes as well. The Stones tab is where you do all of your stone work. We feature everything from standard calibrated sizes to the ability to input custom sizes as well. This is really helpful if you're working with some of our clients. A big part of their business is they take pieces of jewelry that might be, ones that their grandparents owned or something like that, and they'll repurpose those stones and redesign something with them. So all of the time, those are custom cut stones, and they have custom sizing, and you can generate custom settings in here. We have a whole range of different setting types, and I'll be drilling into all of these afterwards. AI is where you use our AI tool, and I'm going to show you some fun stuff with AI and some of the things that we've made with it. One of the important things to just keep in mind with AI is that 3D AI generation is still really in its infancy. So there's a lot of programs out there that'll do 2D AI, so it'll generate a really beautiful picture of a ring. For us, what we focus on is making sure that everything in Pencil that you create is fully manufacturable. And so that means that when you're using our AI, you're actually generating complete 3D objects that you can use in designs or as designs and standalone pieces themselves. And I'm going to show you one of those afterwards. Elements is where you can use, we have a library of all these different elements that you can use. And that library of elements you can use either, again, as standalone designs, you can engrave them into pieces, you can emboss them into pieces. You can upload your own SVGs too. So we had someone who was drawing their own custom engravings that they wanted to put on pieces, and so they drew it separately to Pencil, and they could just upload it in here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. Some of the, I'm always amazed by the things that people create in Pencil, especially when we're working with them. And we saw someone doing that the other day, and it was so cool. Text is where you would enter custom text, and that would generate for you something that you could either emboss or engrave, or again, use as a standalone design. Uploads, you can upload existing STL files into Pencil and then continue to modify and design with them using Pencil's features. And then components is for things like bails and earring posts and jump rings as well, if you're actually building out, designs that require those. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to dive in and now actually show you some designs. The first thing I want to do is I'm actually going to jump in and use AI to begin with. The reason why I'm going to do this is that AI takes about 2 to 4 minutes to generate a design. And I want to get that started now, and then I'm going to dive in and actually show you a couple of things. So with AI, you can either upload an image or you can use the prompt. I'm going to use the prompt today, but if you want to upload images, we recommend ones that have blank backgrounds and that really do show a 3-dimensional style view of whatever you're trying to generate. And in fact, if you reach out to our helpful team, if I've got a couple of windows open here, but if you ever are in Pencil and you press that little box down there, that's going to reach out directly to our team, and we'd be more than happy to give you some pointers as to where we get really great images for our AI. But I'm going to use the prompt today, and I'm going to generate a coffee cup because I want to create like a cute little charm for a charm bracelet or for a pendant. So I'm just going to type in a coffee cup. It's going to take about 2 to 4 minutes to generate. You can sit there. We have lots of lovely videos of all of the collective pets of the staff at Pencil. So sometimes we have the little French bulldog. Sometimes you'll see a little bunny rabbit hopping around in a video of a bunny rabbit called Turing. But while that's generating, I want to show you some designs. So I'm going to dive in now. And we're going to start by designing with a template. So we're going to take a ring. And I'm going to design just a simple stacking ring, but it's a really great way to show you how all the features kind of work together. We'll grab the slim plain ring as our template. And the first thing you'll notice, and I just kind of take you through step by step everything that we're seeing and how to use Pencil. The first thing you'll notice is we have these options on the left here to change the size. Now, these will always be based on the template you select. So I picked a really simple template. There's not a lot of options here, just the width and the height. But if I was to go back, let's grab something a little more complex. Maybe we'll grab... let's grab the slim heart signet, and I'll just show you what that looks like. So as you can see here, if we were to use this, there's a whole range of different options to us. We can change the size of the signet face on top. We can change just the bottom band width. We can change the heart width. I know there's another heart one where you can change the length of the point. So there's lots of different options depending on which template you pick from to be able to change your actual base design. And I'm going to go back to our slim plain ring. Cool. I'm just going to leave this as is. I could change the width and the height. I could change the size too as well. But I want to dive in and show you how we can do some stone setting on that. Just very quickly, how the controls work in Pencil. If you're on a computer, you're just using your mouse. You're holding down your mouse key to rotate. You can use the mouse button to scroll in and out, or a trackpad. I'm on a laptop right now, so I'm using a trackpad. If you're on a phone or a tablet, it's your standard kind of pinch controls to zoom in and out, one finger to rotate, and then two fingers will actually pan it if you want to move it across. And you can just use Shift if you're on a computer to do that.
It's crazy realistic. Like, it looks so like metal. It's really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that I wanted to have from the start, was as realistic as possible when you're in here. This little cube on the top is going to be your best friend when it comes to designing. What this does is this allows you to just jump between all these different views. Every corner and every side will give you a different point of view from, and you can lock it, which means you can't accidentally rotate it as you're designing. I find this really handy, especially on mobile, to be able to just lock that camera so that you don't accidentally spin things around while you're trying to place a stone. Very quickly here, I mentioned these were here before. So again, finishes, design material. But let's jump in and actually show some stuff. So this is our stone panel where you can start placing stone settings. First thing you have to do is just go through and actually select them. So maybe we'll start with an oval. I mentioned you can do custom sizing, or you can just select from some standard calibrated sizes. In this case, I'm going to just select a 5x3. Again, lots of different setting types available. Maybe we'll start with a bezel. And let's go, what are we? We're almost in February. Let's do amethyst because we're almost in the birth months for that. So you can see my stone has just appeared. Now you're able to place it. And the way in which Pencil works is the first thing you would do is you would actually place the stone or any customization. So we're just going to move our mouse along here. You can't see it as much, but you can definitely feel it that it sticks to the center because we have snapping tools enabled to get it perfectly centered. Once you've got it in the position that you want, you can double click or double tap on a phone. And now we can actually do some more work to it. So if you click back on it, you get this awesome contextual menu up the top here. That's going to allow you to do some fine tuning of it. So let's say, for example, you can see here that it was a tiny little bit crooked when I placed it. So that's perfect. Let's use the move button up here to move it further up. We'll also use rotate to rotate it a little bit. And if you want to line it up and really see how it's actually positioned, we do have a grid that you can turn on and off. It's toggled off by default, but you can turn it on. And so this can really help for making sure that you've got everything lined up perfectly. But now that we've got that in place, maybe you decide that actually the oval isn't what you want there anymore. So let's go through and let's change that. And whenever you change a stone, all you need to do is select it, and then you can change it to any other option. So let's change it to a pair. And there we go. So that's going to be a 5x3 pair. Of course, you could pick any other size you want there. We can change the setting type. So let's say, for example, we wanted to do a big solitaire setting, and we'll do 3-prong. And so that's going to generate now. You can see that that's changed it to a solitaire setting. You'll need to move that down a little bit just because we moved the bezel up. But all you need to do is use that, and that'll move that back down into the ring. I actually, for this design, want to show a basket prong. So I'm going to go back and pick one more type of setting, which is a basket prong. And so you can see that's that setting there. And again, we'll just go to the top and make sure that's all aligned perfectly. And it looks like it needs the tiniest little bit of rotation, just because I can be a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to these things.
So all jewelers, let's be honest.
And there we go. Okay, so we've made a stacking ring. Now, I went through a bunch of different options and kind of showed you how you can, change things there. But if I had just designed that just from start to finish without changing anything, you probably could have done that in a minute, I'd say.
Yeah.
One more tool I want to show you here before I dive in and show something a little more complex is we have the duplicate option there as well. Duplicate is great if you want to just keep adding stones. It respects the rotation that you've already put in place and the height and everything. So you can just go through and just keep duplicating and building up designs. I'm going to delete that one. So then the next thing that we do when we're designing these is we go through what we call the finalizing process. So if you go to download, what happens now is Pencil's going to go and it's going to generate production ready files so that you can download them and have them cast. If you were looking really, really closely, you possibly would have noticed that these prongs are actually way too short to be used. So for any stone setters out there, you'd know straight away that you need much longer prongs. And Pencil does all of that automatically. So when you go to this download tab and you click on production model, Pencil's gone through, as you can see, we've swapped it out, we've made the prongs much longer, we've cut away all the metal on the inside. So if you were placing stones along the band there, it would do that. You wouldn't have bits of metal coming through. And so that means that this file here, you can just download directly, and you'd be able to download that, send that through to your casting house or to a 3D printer. You can also share it directly from in Pencil, and we do also have a directory of people that you can contact as well, like for example for 3D printing services that you can do inside here.
Amazing. So also obviously when it comes to polishing and finishing things up, obviously there's a bit of metal that's lost. So is that taken into consideration here, or how does that work?
Yeah, so when you go and download it, you can actually specify a percentage increase for scaling.
Okay, perfect.
And that can be really helpful for shrinkage and things like that as well. Like if you're, I remember back in our manufacturing days, if we were actually making a mold, there would actually be, like 4 or 5% shrinkage that you would see going through that mold process. And so, yes, you can just scale that up when you download it.
So would you then contact your manufacturer if you knew where you were going to get it made and ask them what the shrinkage percentage is and then put that in there because it might vary?
Yes, absolutely. I would recommend that. And it does vary, even just between different types of like rubber and things like that, depending on the mold you're making.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, great.
Let's jump over now. I think our AI will have finished, and probably finished quite a while ago. But this is our AI. So we've just gone and generated like a really cute little coffee cup charm here. And now you can actually create that as part of a design. If we wanted to, we could go ahead and put stones on that. I'm just going to make this one really simple. And, maybe we'll just use a little jump ring.
Would that be solid, or what if you wanted that to be hollow? Because obviously that could be quite heavy if that was solid.
Yes, it could be. And this is quite small. It is, if you wanted it to be hollow, you would probably need to do a little bit of extra post-processing, or you could use an instrument to cut metal out from underneath it, up through the inside there.
Right. Yes. I remember you mentioned that. Yes, that's possible.
But so this is just an example of it, and a couple of other examples that I want to show you of how our AI works so you can see. I'm just going to show you an example of a design that I created the other day. So for this pendant here, what I did was I asked it to generate a horse's head. So I did this really lovely like sculptural organic design, and then I actually put it on a template. So one of the cool things about the AI that we generate is you might get this perfect 3D design that's come through here, but you can use our thickness button and that's going to flatten it right the way down. So you can turn it almost into a relief.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I find this to be really cool for adding to pendants or on the top of rings. I did one with like a lion's head on the top of a signet ring the other day. So a lot of cool uses for it. And as I said, if you're uploading images, well, you can get some really great objects coming from there.
That's really nice. I like that.
might just show you one more design that actually one of my team members created yesterday, and I thought was really cool. She did it just for testing purposes, and I checked with her and I'm like, can I show this tomorrow morning, because it's a super cool use of AI. This is actually a big cuff, and what she's done is she generated this little heart at the top, and she's embedded it in the top. So that was generated using AI. I think she asked it to generate a puffy heart. And then she placed it on the design. So you can really use it to build up these like 3D sculptural and organic elements that you can then use in your designs.
Fun.
I'm going to show another quick design while we're here, and this one's going to be a little bit more advanced in terms of using some pendant templates and creating a charm, and just showing you how engraving and cutouts work. So I'll start by selecting the circle charm, and you can see these are all of our pendant templates. One note on templates, we often make templates at the request of customers. So if there are particular types of designs that you want, or particular base templates, like a ring, for example, reach out to us. We're always more than happy to do it. As an example, right now we're building a whole base of cathedral templates for cathedral rings, which is something that has been requested by customers.
Amazing.
So I'm going to start with this little template here. So this is tiny. This is a little tag. I'll make it a little bit larger, and so you can see how you can change the size. We'll change the size to a 5x5. We'll make this just a little bigger here.
I actually have a lot of people who've asked me where to get tags from. So this is a perfect place to do it. Yeah. Then you could just make your one and then get a cost 100 of them, and then you're done. Perfect.
And if you've got a logo, you just upload your logo file into the tab, and then you can engrave it on there. You can do anything you want with it. You're absolutely right. You can then go through and actually have them made.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I'm going to do a little cutout. I'm actually going to use, let's search for a heart, and we'll grab. So these are our elements. As you can see here, they are shapes and designs that you can use in any kind of design, or you can use them as standalone. So for example, you could just take that heart and actually make that your own template, put stones on it, put a veil on it, and have that made. When you have these elements, you can adjust sizes of them. So we're going to make that a little bit smaller. You can adjust what's called the height, which is also the thickness. So in this case, what we're going to do, and I might just show you quickly here. So if I was to click on engrave, that would create an engraving. So it's cutting the material out. But one of the really cool things about engrave is that you can also use it to cut holes in things. And so you can use it for a variety of purposes. You can take little circle elements and use it to cut holes to put jump rings through. You can use it to cut sections away of your design. In this case, what I want to do is I want to actually completely cut this heart shape out. So I've made it really large, so it goes right the way through. And then I'll click engrave, and then we're starting to create this little cutout tag here.
Cute.
Yeah, I'm not the best designer. Actually, one of my team, she's amazing and does a lot of. I'm going to show you the designer templates that we make, and she does a lot of those. But this is a design that I think I'm okay at. We'll grab a bail here as well. I'm just going to grab one of these. I'll show you. Setting bails and jump rings is exactly the same as if you were putting a stone in place. So it will hug the surface. And you'll feel it snap to the top as well. Now with this one, we're going to need to rotate this. So just showing you some of those tips from before. Let me show you what it looks like. You can see here that it clearly needs to be rotated and it needs to be adjusted a little bit. But if we go to the top view and we click on rotate, we'll move it around like that. And I noticed a little bit at the front that it needs to be just adjusted a little bit there. And you could go back in and turn that grid on as well if you wanted to just get that alignment perfect. And then we'll move that down there like that and click the green check mark. And so that's ready to go. I may have made that bail a little bit too big. There's definitely smaller ones in there, but you can see if you wanted to build like a little tag that you're putting on the end of a chain, or even just as a standalone pendant itself, that's how you could do something like this in pencil.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So did you have any kind of questions or anything you wanted me to drill into more? I've got one more thing to show after this.
No, that was I was just going to ask you about the size of it, if you could adjust it, and you just answered it already. So far, you've explained everything great. But like this engraving tool, so for the coffee cup, for example, you could use that, and there's different shapes of the engraving tools. Could you then also just could you create an AI shape to use as an engraving tool as well, potentially? Does that work?
Yeah, you could, yes. And
Okay.
so, for example, the lion ring that I mentioned, I was also playing around with a version where instead of the lion's head being embossed on the top, it was actually engraved into the ring as
Okay.
well. So yes, AI elements function exactly like the other elements. They can be engraved or embossed.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty quick so far.
Yeah.
Like all of the things, you can create so much stuff super quick.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
no, all good. No questions.
cool. And there's also, when you're actually in pencil as well, there's also the ability to duplicate. For example, this ring that I showed before that had that pear-shaped setting on top. If you were like, okay, I love this, but I want to do a version with an oval and a version with a princess, you can just click duplicate. It's going to create an exact replica of that. You can dive in, change the stone, do the next one, do the next one. And I mean, you could build out an entire collection in, you know, maybe 10, 20 minutes by using that tool.
Yeah. Amazing.
Cool. All right. The last thing I want to show now, we'll go back here, is what we call our designer templates. So within Pencil, we have the basic templates that I showed you, which are those kind of base templates that you would build on top of. But we also build collections of templates, which are designs that our team have gone and created. I would say 50-50 of these are things that people actually ask for, and the other 50 are things that we just kind of come up with seasonally. But the idea is that because in Pencil everything's editable, we've gone and created these completed designs so that you can take them and you can use them as they are, or you can completely change them and use them just as a starting place. So, you know, one of the things that we see a lot of are really simple, like, you know, bezel stone, baguette pendants, put a chain on.
Yeah.
And so you take this template that we've created here, as I showed you before with the changing of the stones, you could go through and you could change sizing of these. You could, you know, maybe change the setting type if you wanted these to be baskets instead of bezels. And so these are in here, and there's just a whole range of them. We have a small stacking ring collection. This is a really cool one. I mentioned the team member of mine who does awesome design stuff for us. And so this is one that she created the other day for a little Valentine's Day collection that we did. So this is actually a cuff that you would wear on your hand. She's and created the bezel set stones on the bottom. And so again, you could kind of take this as is, use it as inspiration, maybe take this and duplicate some of those stones and actually build up, you know, a whole range of heart-shaped stones around there. And so really those designer templates are a great place to start getting into some more advanced designs and some more of the cool things that you can do. If there's anything else in there that I might want to quickly show.
So basically what it's showing you here on the screen is how it would look more as the finished piece. And then when you download it, then it like makes the adjustments for the casting, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. So in fact, if we create the production model for one of these, it would, so this is a small stacking ring that we put in here. It cuts out all the material in there and it creates, you know, slightly higher bezel walls, or if these were prongs, you design, you're designing as it would look when it's finished, but when you go to that download tab, Pencil's then creating the production ready STL behind the scenes.
Okay, perfect. And then also seeing as we were here with rings, the ring sizing, I see there on the left, select size. Is that to do with the ring sizes?
Yep. So we go from size 3 to size 12. They are in American sizes right now, but we do also have a really handy conversion chart just sitting right there.
Great.
So
and that's great because there can be so many different types of sizing. So then at least they know when they pick this one, it's the same.
Yes,
so stick with one sizing. Perfect. That's great. Yeah, Japan, Switzerland, France. Awesome. Great.
Yeah. Cool. So that was all I had to run through today. You know, a couple of examples of designs, but then also showing you some examples of, like, you know, some more advanced things that you can create in Pencil and how we've done those using those templates that are fully editable and usable by everybody that's on Pencil as well.
Amazing. And what I like as well is that you have this chat option, because you might just get stuck somewhere and be like, oh, how do I just do this little thing? Then you can just chat with you guys. And yeah, you said you guys are pretty responsive with that. So while you're learning it, then that's really helpful.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
You know, the product's got video guides in it as well and documentation, and then we're always there to answer questions too. And I think, you know, one of the things I always like to point out is that, we're a small team, but we work really closely with people. And if there's things you want to do in Pencil that aren't there yet, just ask us about them, because chances are we either are either planning to add them or we would love to add them for you. As an example, that solid setting that I showed you, we had a customer come through about 2 weeks ago, and they said, hey, this is the type of setting I need for the ring I'm making. And so we sat down, our team, during our engineering meeting, and it took us about 4 days, and we built that setting and released it for everybody to use. So we love doing stuff like that.
Fantastic. That's great. And I think because it's still like a relatively new company, I mean, you got over 40,000 users already in 1 year, so new but doing great. That's great that you still have that really good communication. I think that's really important when it's like a new tool and people have to learn.
Absolutely.
And it's a subscription. Do you want to talk a little bit about how those options work?
Yeah, so it is subscription based. It's month to month as well. So there's not contracts or anything like that. And there's 3 different subscription tiers. There's an entry level one, which is called a basic subscription. That's $19 a month. That one gives you access to most of the tools. And then you get the way in which the subscriptions are kind of tiered, and the major inclusion is the number of designs that you can actually do that download and then send off for manufacturing. You can create an unlimited number of concepts on any of the plans. There is a soft limit, meaning if you have more than 10 that you haven't finalized, you'll just have to delete one. But you can just keep going through that process and just coming up with ideas. And then whenever you click download, that's when it counts towards your limit. So the basic plan has 5 of those. The professional plan, which is the middle one, which is $39, has 25 of those a month. And then there is an $89 plan that has 75 of those per month.
I mean, that's so affordable. I know Rhino is ridiculously expensive and way more complicated. So that's very, very accessible.
Yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning, we kind of price it from the perspective of, if you're creating 2 to 3 designs a month, downloading them and getting them made, hopefully this is still a more accessible and affordable option than, going out and finding a freelancer or sending it off for a paid service.
And you mentioned as well, like you have a list of manufacturers on your site as well. Are those mainly US based, or where are those based?
We have a mixture. We have European based, and we have US based, and we have an Australian one as well at the moment too.
Amazing.
Yeah, so when you're in there, there's a button that says Get It Made. And when you click on that, it gives you the directory, and you can actually click, there's a button there that'll directly connect you and the manufacturer. It will share that design with them too. So they can't change it, but they can just download it to be able to quote you and all of that sort of stuff. We have partners that range from full service manufacturing companies to specialist product development companies. And we also have just a 3D printing company here that's actually based in the US that does awesome work out of Brooklyn. So if you want to see like a really quick prototype in resin or something like that, they're amazing sort of thing.
Amazing. I mean, thanks for creating this on the behalf of all the jewelers out there. This is fantastic. Yeah. Awesome. Is there anything else that we haven't covered? Otherwise, I think that sounds great. I don't think I have any other questions. I feel like you explained that super well. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, no, it's been great. No, nothing else from my side. I think we've definitely covered. I mean, I could spend hours showing different designs and things like that. Of course. Yeah, nothing else from my side at this stage. But I think I really love the fact that you brought up the chat. So if people are using Pencil and they just they have questions or feedback or just want some guidance on a design, reach out to us. We're here and more than happy to help.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Ben.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. In terms of sign up, I'll put a link underneath. And then have you got a little special offer or something for people who sign up?
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to offer a special discount that will give you 20% off Pencil for 3 months. So you can get a little discount for signing up directly from this. So we'll include the code for that as well underneath the sign up link.
Okay, perfect. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Ben, and have a beautiful day. And I hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you very much.
Ciao.